Okay. So when last we left off, the party had been cornered into a building by a cragworm, which is a large sort of worm-like beast which you can see on the screen in front of you, known for their viciousness and you know, not known for being very nice. But you managed to actually slay it through a well-timed couple of axe blows from Blargs and some muck that you dug up from a lake that you'd thrown down its gullet.
Best muck ever.
That was very effective. I'm proud of that.
And also by crystallizing its tongue and then shattering it. You'd been shepherded into this small little building, running away from it. Sorry, I've just got one of my windows open and I'm hearing myself echo back on myself. So you'd come to this plane, which was made up of hemispheres, sort of almost like a sinusoidal hemisphere of little hillocks, and you'd run following the directions of 3 travellers who had been running from the cragworm. You hadn't really got a chance to speak to. So now that you've slain the cragworm, they'll introduce themselves. Just to remind yourself, there was a muscular woman who looked quite tough, and Blargs had sort of looked at and thought it was his sort of woman, except she's currently incapacitated thanks to a rogue bolt from Scrapper.
Yes, I was going to apologise to her for that.
Scrapper hasn't made the best first impression, given, he pretty much shot her on their first
It wasn't
meeting.
through the heart, it was through the leg. It wasn't that bad.
It was through the thigh. Not the knee, the thigh.
You did also thigh.
You did also miss the cragworm the size of, a huge building.
He was flailing about.
Pretty sure you could still hit a barn if it flailed.
Yeah, so she was a tattooed, muscular, blonde woman. The other 2, there was a short and sort of stocky man with curly dark brown hair who, as best as you can tell, was a bit of a coward. He hadn't really sort of helped in the fight. He panicked. And the other figure was a sort of tall and gangly woman with dark hair who was wearing a leather suit under a sort of flowing tunic and had a dart thrower that she'd been using against them. So immediately after you'd beaten the cragwoman, the dark-haired woman had rushed over to the blonde lady who was doubled up in pain on the ground and started helping her treat the bolt while the bolt wound. While the man had sort of moved to the edge of the little structure that you're in, the little ruin, and was looking out and around. He introduces himself as Theobald and sort of says, "Oh, I didn't think we were going to get out of that one. I thought we were in so much trouble."
Well, I guess it was lucky we were here to help you guys out.
Oh, you're so right. I've been walking in, the wilderness for so many years, but a cragworm, never. Theobald, as you look at him, he looks like he's, now that you can see him, he does look like he has spent a bit of time in the wilderness, but, not as, so he's sort of weathered and he's sort of, looks like he knows his way around outdoors, but the more you look at him, you don't think he's been in many fights. He's been out there a while, but his time out there you don't think has been particularly dramatic. And in fact, until this time, you don't think he's really been into like a real wild area. He's a bit more, he's a bit soft for someone who's supposed to be an outdoorsy type. The blonde woman has been patched up and is sort of sitting on the side of the, leaning up against the side of the ruin. As you examine her, she looks like she's pretty well armoured. Although her arms are bare, you can see tattoos up her sort of left arm. Not quite like the not quite like the Numenera tattoos that some of you got, but they seem to tell the tale of past wars and past battles that she's been in. She looks at most of you, pointedly avoiding Scrapper, and says, "Yeah, thanks for your help. You know, without your help, we would have been in so much trouble out here. Well, the help of some of you, anyway." The dark-haired woman sort of looks at her and says, "Oh, I'm sure it was an accident. You know, they did manage to slay the cragworm."
It was an accident, and I apologise for actually shooting you there. That was my bad.
The blonde woman looks at you and says, "Well, I accept your apology, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet."
Are there more coming?
Well, we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and no one knows what could still be coming. She introduced herself as Askalar, and the dark-haired woman introduces herself as Edirana. The dark-haired woman is sort of looking at you quizzically and says, "What are you doing out here? You know, what brings you so far up into the mountains here?"
We're out seeking the enclave of the Aeon Priests, which we've heard is located deep in the Field of Towers.
She sort of takes that in for a second and says, "You go into the Field of Towers. Why are you heading into that place? It's dangerous."
I think we can handle danger.
We can handle a cragworm.
She sort of takes your point, but keeps eyeing you off, not necessarily warily, but like she's trying to make her mind up about something. The blonde woman, you know, is now trying to stand on her leg and is having a bit of trouble. And she says to you, "Well, we were headed there ourselves, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make it there now."
And what, pray tell, were you heading there for if you clearly knew that it was dangerous?
Oh, look, I've ever since I've been out of the war, I've been a cipher hunter, and all I know is I've got something in there that you know, that I can detect in the field. It's pretty powerful, and you know, thought it might be worth a couple of shins.
Any further details you can give us on this cipher?
She sort of looks at you and goes, "Why? Are you planning to? Are you put after it or something like that?"
Just seeing if it's worth our time.
Well, I don't think it is worth your time. Give a wear after it.
I simply just shake my head at Fettus.
I'm really good at these social interactions.
Oh, it's better than me. I shot somebody.
Just out of curiosity, I must ask, do you believe that this cipher is located in the largest tower in the Field of Towers?
Well, we never made it to the field. You know, we just got the signal. We got pretty close, but you saw what was chasing us. Theobald is sort of looking around outside and he says, I don't think that's the only thing that's been chasing us. I'm getting this feeling that we've been being followed for the last few days.
That would be the choir.
The choir?
Yes, we've come here to the Field of Towers to put an end to this so-called Insidious Choir.
The blonde woman and Ascalar and Theobald sort of look at you like, they don't know what you're talking about. But in Arana, you sort of see that the thin woman has a sort of note of understanding in her eyes. Sorry, is someone, there's just a little bit of snow that's coming through on the signal. Is someone,
I think it's popped out every time he's about to talk or something. I think it's sort of coming from him, I'm not sure.
Sorry, is it
ambient
still
noise?
coming through?
Yeah, a little bit, just some ambient noise or something. Anyway. So yeah, you notice, Ed Arana sort of become very interested in what you're saying, but she doesn't sort of say anything in response. Theobald, regards Ascalar and says, well, if you're injured like that, I'm not sure we're going to be able to make it to find this artifact. I'm not even sure we're going to be able to get you back across the, get you back to Uxford, which he recognises the name of a sort of notable city.
Surely Uxford's too far for you to travel by yourselves. It must be weeks away, surely.
I may not be the best in a fight, but I am a pretty good guide. We've been travelling from Uxford for about 2.5 weeks now.
Alright.
I would have thought somewhere as close to a major city as the Field of Towers is, I would have thought someone would have come and raided this and looted any valuable Numenera eons ago.
Ascalar sort of looks at you and says, yeah, it's funny you should say that. The signal that's here, at least the one that I picked up, I've passed through this area years ago and didn't pick up anything, but all of a sudden in the last sort of couple of months the signal's been growing stronger. I even detected it all the way in Uxford, and it's been getting stronger ever since we've been heading this way.
Interesting.
Maybe it's just something that's been unearthed or activated. You know how it is with some of the remnants of the old worlds.
How were you able to detect it?
She pulls out a small device about the size of a like a hand mirror. You notice that parts of it looks like it's been ripped off something. There are parts of pipes and what would have been like cable assemblies holding off it. It's got a small little screen, and the back of it is like a concave curve. She says, well, I inherited this years ago from an old captain of mine, and sometimes it just finds devices from the old world. It's very useful. It's certainly brought me a couple of coins over the years.
Very nice. Quite impressive.
Fetish, you had a question, sorry?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Theobald looks out the door and he says, well, it's about middle of the day now. We might be able to get to the edge of the field, but I'm not sure I want to go in the field, taking our main sort of line of defence injured with us.
I'm sure
The
we could just
Askalar looks at him and goes, "Yeah, I am your main line of defence because you're bloody useless."
If they're after an escort service, considering we're both headed in the same direction, or were initially prior to injury,
The dark-haired
perhaps we could
lady,
be.
Edirana, looks at you and says, "You said you were seeking a citadel."
Yes, the enclave of the Aeon Priests. We've heard it's located in or near the field towers.
She looks at you again and says, "Yes, I've heard of this enclave. We can, guide you there, and I'm sure Askalar, you'd be able to get some medical attention there." Askalar looks down at her wound and says, "Look, I've been in many fights, and I know when the best time to see a medic is, and this one will probably need a little bit of stitching up, so they might be our best bet." Theobald looks at the door and says, "Well, we'd best move quickly while we still have the light." So you've got a choice. You can accompany these three to the tower, or you can find your own way, bid them farewell and, good luck on their way back to Uxford, or you can try something else. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna be voting for escorting them because I'm guilty for shooting the Ascalar. So
You're pretty
I'm
good at
basically
causing
I'm basically
damage
going to be
to
doing
the
that
ground.
as part of making it up to them.
As penance?
Yeah.
I'm all
Otherwise,
for
I'm gonna have to
the
do
more the merrier.
Okay.
I think the Aeon Priests had information on the. Well, that's what the Devona said. The Aeon Priests might have information on the choir anyway, so if we can get to the Enclave and escort these three while we're at it, that's two birds with one stone.
And I also got a rearm as well, so if I can get some supplies there, that'd be great as well.
Okay. So you make your way across the field with its spherical undulations. As you're walking there, you can see some ruins of old buildings, but nothing that appears connected to anything that would have caused any undulations like this in the surface. It's not like facilities that are half out of the ground or anything like that. It looks like it's been built on top of later on. You make your way across them, and that brings you close to the edge of the field. It's a wide open field that's ringed on all the other sides by rising sort of hills. Some of them are quite steep, all of them are looking natural. And you can see the towers. It covers a couple of square kilometres, and there's at least 24 metal towers from the distant past. Most of them are open structures. They look almost like they might have been the supports of a single structure rather than individual buildings. And they're in a reasonably regular but not really discernible pattern. You get the sense that they were laid out with some sort of purpose. From the edge of the field, you can see that some towers have collapsed entirely. Some are overgrown with sort of thick ivy-like plants. There's also another tower on the edge that looks like it was built here later. It's not contemporary, but it still looks like it's not part of the original array, not part of the original pattern. Let me just switch your tab. Loads.
Oh.
So this one tower stands alone. As you've travelled, Theobald has told you a bit about the area, and he says that this Aeon Priest citadel is known for is really here to study the towers and study the ruins of the past, but no one's heard from them for a while. It's usually there's some sort of communication and trade with it, but the usual lines of communication just before they set up had gone quiet. As you make your way to the tower, you get that sense that Theobald had talked about, that you're being watched. I'd like an intellect roll from you.
Would this potentially use knowledge Numenera, or is this more like a seeing sort of thing?
A sensing.
Okay.
I'll give it a go, just a flat roll.
All of us or just one?
All of you.
Okay.
Nope.
We are oblivious.
Yeah.
You ruined it, Mort. I was waiting for another 6 so it could be the devil.
So the highest we got was 11. Ouch.
So, Ranger, with your senses and your experience in the wilderness, you definitely get the sense that something's wrong and something's around. There could be another. You get a similar sort of sense that you were getting from the viral creatures on top of the train.
Okay.
But you can't pin down exactly where it's coming from.
In that case, I express my thoughts to the party. I say something is incorrect.
Alright.
Theobald,
Words?
Yeah, good choice of words there.
Theobald sort of looks around and says, he goes, I'm getting that sense as well that there's something nearby. And he sort of, pulls out his bow and sort of has it ready.
I'll do the same with my crossbow.
You make your way towards the foot of the tower. And as you approach it, you notice that the bottom level of it is open. There's a ladder leading up to a hatch in the roof, but it's like an open structure. You can walk all the way under it. At the top of the ladder there is that hatch, and from where it appears below, it appears to be sealed. Nothing has approached you or hailed you or anything like that.
Are there any signs that this has like Aeon Priest insignias or anything like that that we might recognise?
There's no insignia, but there is signs around the bottom of it that, that in the not too distant past, there's been inhabitants. So it looks like the base of this area, has been used as like a staging area for equipment or something like that. You also notice in the, in addition to the ladder and the hatch, there is a area that looks like a lift platform, but it's up in the bottom of the tower and it isn't coming anywhere. There's not like a structure from it. You think it's perhaps something that's hoisted down from above and used to lift goods up into the tower. I'll get another intellect roll.
Yay!
Bullseye.
Oh, god
Oh,
damn.
wow.
20.
Okay. So as you approach the base of the tower, Scrapper and Fetus, you look around and you sort of pinpoint where this sense of unease that the Ranger had been getting comes from. You can see something sneaking along a distance behind you, round the back of the rocks. It had been moving quite quickly, but you managed to catch a glimpse of it.
Okay.
So it hear another one of those viral creatures. It's not approaching you at this point. It's sort of hanging back and observing you. And it's a far distance away.
Alright, I don't say anything, however, I do give Ranger a slight nudge and sort of gesture in the direction that I spotted it.
Huh, okay.
So Ranger, you catch sight of it after Fetus has done it. And I'll get... it's a wild creature, so I'll just get a knowledge of it. So actually, I'll just give that to you. You think that this is a similar sort of viral being to the creature that you encountered on top of the train.
Okay.
You think that this one, rather than that one that was on top of the train, which was like a big, beefy brawler, you think this is more of like a stealth or reconnaissance
Okay.
creature.
Recon slime.
Yeah, it's more of a watcher, a viral watcher than a creature. You Theobald notices where you've been looking at, and looks at the creature, and his eyes sort of widen, and he says, "That thing must have been following us for days."
That's very likely.
For now, don't alert it. Just act natural.
Edirana looks at it, and you see her a sort of pained expression come across her face briefly, and then she turns back to the task at hand. Askalar looks up at the tower and looks up the ladder at the hatch at the top of it, and she says, "Well, I'm not going to climb a ladder, but maybe one of us should go up and knock."
Tell you what, pretty lass, I'll go up there. I'll knock.
Don't you pretty lass me, you young whippersnapper.
I'll climb up that ladder and see if anyone's home, and we'll see if we can get that cargo elevator up and running.
So you climb up the ladder while the others sort of are on guard down below. And you climb up the ladder. It's maybe sort of a 15-meter high ladder, so it's a decent climb, but it's an easy climb. It's quite a nice, friendly ladder. And you get up the top. You notice there's a hatch that's been sealed from the top with no sort of obvious mechanism to turn it from below. Would you like to knock?
I would please like to knock.
Okay, you knock on the bottom of the hatch, and for a second it's all quiet, and then you hear activity from the other side, and down next to the hatch pokes out a small camera with a sensor array next to it, and there's a speaker mounted at the front of it. "Who goes there?"
Those who seek knowledge on the field.
"You're not one of them?"
What are they?
Clearly, I am of flesh and blood, if that's what you're referring to.
"Yeah, they all start out as flesh and blood, but that's not how they end up."
Well, unless whatever you're referring to has evolved intelligence that would knock at the front door before barging its way in, I'm not what you think I am.
"You could just be another ruse. Hold very still." The array next to the camera lights up and bathes you in a greenish coloured energy. It sort of looks you up and down and sort of scans you. It says, "Oh, right, you're clean. State your business."
We seek information on the choir.
"The choir. Okay, here's the deal. We will lower the elevator. You people have to stay on your guard, because every time we've lowered it for the past month, those creatures have tried to get in. We will scan each and every one of you, and you cannot come in here until you're proven all clear.
I don't see there being a problem.
They're big on security.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Respect the rules.
So you move back down the ladder to the base, and you see the lift lower from above. It doesn't appear to have any sort of visible mechanism by which it's attached to the ceiling, but it lowers straight down and rests on the ground with a sort of silent, without a sound. Askalar and Theobald move on to it pretty quickly, with Edirana following after. And you're all still watching the green creature over the rise. You see it sort of tilt its head from side to side, and then stare at the sky for a minute. You think it's communicating with something.
Just quickly. So we were actually able to hear the conversation between that was going on at the top of the ladder.
You could make it out from where you were standing, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You could hear it. You could hear them. They couldn't hear you from the ground. They could only hear Brissif.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
So the cargo lift can fit us all in one go, or is it multiple trips?
You'll all be able to fit on it in one trip if you sort of squeeze together.
With this recon slime, as it appears to be communicating, what is Edirana up to currently?
She's eyeing it warily, and you can see that unlike against the cragworm, where she was quite sort of fearless and brave, against this thing she's very wary and very cautious.
Okay. Now's probably not the time, but I'd like to query her on this at some point.
Okay.
I would, if there's time, I would like to perhaps give Fetus a little nudge, and I don't know, Fetus, do you believe that with your cybernetic whiz bangs you could probably intercept their communication or something, if it looks like they're telepathically linked or something?
I'll let you do a scan if you'd like, Fetus.
Yeah, I can do that. What's the cost on my scan? That's 2.
Yep. So I think you just need to pay the...
Oh, right. Ignore that.
Yeah, you just need to pay the cost. So you extend your sensors out from where you're standing into the distance, and you can definitely pick up something within the field, like a transmitter in there somewhere. You get the impression that this creature is communicating with whatever this transmitter you sense in the field there is. That said, when you extend your senses, you can also sense some more presences in the immediate area, and they appear to be coming towards you at a decent rate of knots.
Excellent.
Would you like to warn everyone else?
Nah, yeah.
Okay, you warn the others that there are some other presences similar to the green slime creature that you've already detected converging on the base of the tower.
I suggest we get on now, quickly.
Okay, you all jump onto the lift, and just as it starts to move up slowly, you see 4 or 5 of the green creatures move towards you. 3 of them are much like this one, There's one that appears to be sort of a more standard humanoid but green, and then there's another big beefy one like the one you fought on top of the train. It's not quite the same geometry. You think they're all a little bit unique, but it's of a similar mass.
Follows other angry cousin. Right.
I call out to the speaker that I spoke to at the hatch and just like, a little faster, please.
So as you move on the
Does anyone have a
lift,
straw?
you can see the lift start moving up at a slow pace, not stuff, and the creatures are starting to converge. You see the big beefy creature start to spit on its hands and gather up a big ball of slime. He throws it at the platform that you're on, but comes up short. And as the platform rises just out of their reach, you can see them all converge underneath the tower and stop. And you see them all just look up as you disappear into the hatch.
Creepy.
Still silent as ever. As you enter the hatch, you notice you're in what appears to be a loading bay. But there's a structure erected around it. So you're in like a small tent within the bay. Made of what appears to be some sort of clear synth. There is an electronics array on one side of it, and you see it sort of start glowing. And it starts reading you as you go through. After it's read you, a Aeon priest in the traditional blue robes of the Order, sort of a sky blue, comes out and points into there and says, "Okay, you may come through, except for you two." And it points at Scrapper and Fetus.
Yay!
Oh
This
god,
is
you
because I
wait the
drank
force.
that foot, isn't it?
Pardon?
This is because I drank that foot, isn't it?
But me?
Maybe.
Okay, I simply just stand back a little bit, confused as to why I'm getting stopped. I mean, a bit understandable that Fetus would be stopped, but me? Really?
So the rest of you sort of move through. It's like a clear plastic tunnel, and you come out into a small waiting area. While the Aeon priest, now joined by two others, who have crossbows drawn, and well, one of them has a crossbow, one of them looks like a slug thrower drawn. And first, the Aeon priest that you spoke to points at Fetus and says, "We detected something anomalous with you. Step up to the plastic."
Alrighty.
So you step up to the plastic, and he pulls out a small, it looks like a clear disc, and runs it up and down on you. And then he says, "Turn around."
Okay.
God.
Yes, Gordon Cole.
He runs the disc up and down you and stops on your spine. And his eyes go wide with a look of alarm. The other two Aeon priests brandish their weapons at you from the other side of the plastic. The Aeon priest says, "What's this on your back?"
A stowaway.
How do I explain this?
Well, when a mummy slug and a daddy human get together,
For what it's worth, it lies dormant at the moment. I'm here under a trade deal of sorts. I'll get it removed upon my return.
He holds out the disc in front of you and starts, and comes right up close to the plastic, not too close, but close to plastic. And you see him sort of make some gesture in front of it and run up and down and goes, "It doesn't appear healthy. but I don't think it's contagious. You can come through. And gestures only to Fetus to go down the path that the others have already gone down. He then turns his eye to Scrapper and says, approach the plastic.
Okay. I put my crossbow away first and then just calmly walk up to the plate.
He runs the scan over you and says to you, have you been exposed to some sort of mutagen or toxic substance recently?
Well, I've had some spilled on my armor during a recent battle with those things down there, but it didn't make contact with my skin. I scraped it off with my knife before it had a chance to make contact with me.
And he looks at it and he goes, no, this isn't from the choir. You didn't go to the lake, did you?
The lake? Oh, the lake where I made that makeshift grenade? Oh, that, what, the brownish kind of sludgy lake you're talking about?
That stuff was delicious.
With the screaming statues.
Yes, we did go there.
He runs it up and down and he goes, oh, you've got pain coming in your future.
How? I didn't make any contact with it. I didn't touch it at all. I put some into a jar, but I never actually touched it myself.
Merely to be close to the statues has been known to have adverse effects for those who have the wrong sort of constitution for it. It could be nothing, but be on guard. And then he gestures you through.
I just shake my head, just going, fracking really? Alright. I just walk past.
Okay, he brings you through, and they offer you some towels and sort of clean robes. A couple of the priests look at Askalar's wound and start to dress it and tie it up and disinfect it. And they offer you a room for the evening and say, look, if you need to rest up, you can rest here for a while, and then we'll talk in the evening.
Excellent.
So you've now got an opportunity, if you like, if you need, to recover any of your pools. This counts as a rest.
So that's a 1d6?
1d6 plus your TR, right?
That's correct, yep.
Yeah, my intellect pulls down, so I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the option of going up to an hour?
Yes. So that's a couple of rests you can do.
Ah, shit. Okay. No, that'll be fine. It's not full, but it'll be fine. I'll just go with that. Okay, so that's my 10 minutes used up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to do a third recovery roll to an hour?
No, I've only got I'm only pretty much missing 2 points. I'll wait till I actually need it.
I'll take the full hour, I think.
Okay. So if you need, roll another. Ouch.
Damn, 3. I only got 1 and you got 3, so you got 3. Damn. Is there a place where I can actually purchase bolts or something?
This isn't really a purchase thing. It's more of it's closer to a monastery than anything, and you haven't really been accessed. They've kind of dropped you in a couple of rooms, and then said we will be back to fetch you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
After about an hour and a half, the AM priest who had was sort of leading leading the group downstairs and who'd had the device and had been scanning comes down and finally sort of introduces. He says, "I am Brother Eshnemer," and I'll spell that out because it's a fitting name. "I am Brother Eshnemer, and welcome to the Citadel. You've come to us at a very trying time, but we're glad that you're here intact." He guides you up the stairs, up to another, up a couple of levels within the Citadel to what appears to be a dining hall. There are 4 or 5 other Aeon priests there, but from the way you look around, you expect that at one stage this place would have held 20 or 30, but they appear to be down to quite a low number at this point.
What happened?
The choir. The choir had been long dormant in this area, but about 6 weeks ago we detected a new signal from the field. It was a signal that we'd never detected before, but we had to, so we had to investigate. That's our calling. We lost 10 brothers almost straight away. 10 brothers and another 5 sisters, all gone just like that, taken by the choir. Since then, we've sealed this place off, and we've been waiting really for our salvation to arrive. But the signal's too strong. We haven't been able to get communications out of here.
What happened 6 weeks ago to cause this?
We're not sure what activated the signal. It could have been a creature, it could have been just some long dormant thing, but whatever it is, the choir was in control of it. Since then, it's been multiplying rapidly, sending out creatures and scouts all over the Steadfast.
Can you pinpoint the source?
We've narrowed it down to one tower, which we think is their central hub.
Tell us, what do you know of the Devona?
Devonas. All I've ever heard of a Devona is a myth. We've never found anything. They're supposed to be very intelligent and experimentalists, or at least they were in the stories that they used to tell around campfires. Why? Have you encountered one?
Yeah, we did.
Should I lift my shirt?
It's up to you if you want to explain how you got that thing.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
He sort of
They
looks at you.
showed
And
interest in it before.
he looks at it and sort of examines it a bit, but he says, "Well, it's not my area of expertise, but this is what, some sort of symbiote or some sort of infestation?"
Of sorts,
I'm surprised that someone so readily carries around a parasite like that.
Well, unfortunately, readiness doesn't quite factor into it.
It wasn't exactly by choice, as far as I've heard.
He sort of examines it and then gestures you for you to put your shirt back on. And Eshnemer says, "Well, that's certainly a burden you carry. I just hope that it doesn't progress any further, or that thing will kill you."
Well, it was the bargain we made with the Devona, was it not? That we help deal with this choir in exchange for that being safely removed from him.
How did the Devona ask you to deal with the choir? Did she give you any tools, any guidance?
Guided us here to you.
See, we've only ever had one plan. Oh, we've lost Pop Done.
I'm still
We've
here.
only. Oh, okay. Just lost your video. We've only ever had one plan that we weren't quite sure how we'd put it in action. He gestures to one of the other priests who runs off and then comes back. She comes back carrying a what looks like some sort of device with a trigger. He says, "This is the only choice we have. We think that this is powerful enough to knock out a level of the tower. So if you can find whatever level that transmitter is on, we should be able to knock it out and stop them, at least for now."
That'll be fun.
I suppose you have some sort of plan to actually get to the tower, considering how many of those things are out there.
Yeah, it'll most likely be guarded, won't it?
We do have some devices that can hide your signal. You know, we thought we had them right the first time, but, well, we lost 15 of our comrades that day.
And
We've
how
since,
sure
we've since improved it and have made a couple of reconnaissance missions outside, but never very far, just to see if we can find any more supplies or get a signal out. And they haven't been able to detect us, at least, you know, from a signal.
how
Askalar,
many of
who's
these
come up with you,
devices are there?
he says, we have enough to cover a small party, no more than 4 or 5. Askalar, who's come up with you and is sitting at a table, you know, she's sort of limping on her leg, and she says, "Well, I'd come and do it, except for, you know, I'm not even sure I could walk to that other tower at the moment." And Theobald sort of shakes his head and says, "No, I'd rather head back to Axfon."
Pansies.
Alright, let's do it.
So he says, "You can rest here for tonight, recover your strength, and head out during the evening. You know, during the dawn might be the best time to approach. We think that the temperature change as the sun rises can make them a little bit slower and you know, makes you a bit more difficult to detect."
Are there any extra supplies you can spare for when we go in?
We have some ammunition and some you know, rations and bits and pieces, but we are running out of food, so we can't, and other supplies, so we can't offer you much.
Well, that's fine, because all I would really want is ammo, because I'm most likely going to be getting into a fight in there, and I'm a bit low, so if you can spare any, that would be great.
He gestures, and the Aeon priest who'd gone and grabbed the explosives device before hands it to you, hands the ammunition to you, and says, "Take this with our blessing."
I smile and nod, saying thank you, and I have a look to see how many there are.
So she's given you a small bundle of about 15 bolts.
Nice. Okay.
Did anyone else need any ammunition from a supply?
I'm good.
Not so much
I'm
for
fine.
me. I do require their assistance with a small matter.
Okay.
I want to ask them if they're able to help me out in determining the tone that I need to sort of emit to activate my little musical explosive cipher.
So you hand it to Eshtamir, and he examines the device, and he says, "I've never seen one quite of this construction before, but there are many familiar elements." And he pulls out his glass disc again and runs it over it slowly. He says, I think I've got just the thing. He walks over to a cabinet on the edge of the room and opens it up. And he pulls out what appears to be like a tone whistle that like a singer might use. And he hands it to you and he says, "This should activate this device. But you'll need to be within a fairly close range to activate it, otherwise it won't pick up the tone."
Well, thank you very much. I promise to put your wisdom to good and explosive use.
So the Aeon priests provide you with provisions, and you have a fairly meagre meal sitting around in there what had once been a hive of activity, but was now a fairly quiet and reserved kitchen. They're pretty much on the bones of their ass here. They've not been, the last month or 6 weeks have not been very kind to them. But they share what they have and usher you down to quarters where you've been at night. Just as you are sort of heading down there and they're guiding you down there, Edirana taps Fetus on the shoulder and gestures him to come with her. She says, "There's something I need to talk to you about."
Cool.
So you're gonna go with her?
Absolutely.
With this strange lady?
She seems to, with the strange lady, who seems to know at least of the green things.
So she pulls you into a sort of small alcove and looks around and she says, "Can I trust you?"
Can I trust you?
She says, "Well, we're going to have to." She pulls into her cloak, or sort of into her cloak and tunic, and pulls out what appears to be an injector of some sort.
Oh God.
It's got 2 vials with it. And she says, "I didn't come to the Field of Towers looking for treasure. I'm here to find a friend of mine who I think has been infected."
And this is supposedly a cure?
It took a lot of research before we set off, but I found this ancient device, and I think this will kill all of the virus in him, if you can find him.
Who is he?
His name's Dro, and he's very special to me.
What is his relationship with you?
Joe and I, Joe was my partner, but he went off on a solo journey into this area. And he came back and he was different. I tried to find out what was wrong with him, but then one night he just went and disappeared, and I found some of those virons left over. And hearing the rumours here from Uxfin, I'd heard the rumours of the green creatures and knew that they were connected.
Okay.
If you find him in the tower, if you could either inject him with this or just end it, because I know he wouldn't want to be in their thrall.
I'll try my best.
She passes the injector with its 2 vials to you and says, "Please, just find him. I need to know one way or the other."
And how will I find you?
We'll wait here. There's not many other places we can go, not with all those creatures out there.
That's a fair call. All right. I'll try my best.
So she's handed you the injector. You can do a knowledge numenera check on that.
Excellent. Oh, I know
One.
nothing about it. It's completely foreign to me. I've never seen it before.
So you sort of look it over, and you sort of tap the side of it, unloaded. You've still got the vials, and a needle shoots out of it, but it turns out you've been holding it the wrong way.
Excellent.
So the needle shoots into your hand, and it stings like hell.
At least it wasn't my eye.
Irana looks at you with a concerned look, and she says, "Was I right to trust you?"
Trust me with the knowledge. Sure. Trust me with the equipment. Maybe not.
And with that, she sort of disappears back down the corridor to the room that she's sharing with Ascala.
Wonderful.
So you move down the corridor. It's dimly lit. You're not sure how the powers reach this place until you reach the quarters that had been assigned to you all. It's more like a dormitory room, but it's empty now. And so they've got the four of you in one room with a couple of extra spare beds. Would you like to tell them about your encounter?
Yeah, I'll relay the information and neglect to show them the incorrect procedures required to cause self-harm with the needles.
Okay, would anyone else like to examine the injector with a knowledge numenera, if you've got it?
I'll give it a go.
Okay.
16, nice.
So from examining the injector and the vials, you think that she's probably correct that this will cleanse the virons out of a creature. You also think that because you've got two charges, not only will it cure someone if they get infected, but you might also be able to use it to destroy some of the sort of viral jelly creatures. You've probably got one shot with it because you need to use the other vial. But you might be able to use it to destroy one of the creatures as a weapon. But you'll have to get up close to inject it.
Sure.
I do believe that we should probably try and not use all of this serum at once, because I believe the Devona might be able to reverse engineer some sort of vaccine or something from this.
So I have at least some left. Yeah, I agree.
Well, provided we're out of earshot from everyone else, I'm possibly going to, well, we still don't know which physical form the choir itself takes in terms of leadership or something. But one shot for that, one shot for the Devona, and kill Dro. No sense saving one person.
Or we don't kill Dro or try to avoid killing him and then come back with a vaccine later.
Possibly, that could also work.
Problem is, we actually got to know who the hell is Dro. Do you know what? Did she tell you what he looks like or anything like
No,
that? How do
didn't
we
bother to
know it's
ask
hard
either.
to avoid?
Didn't bother to ask. I'm assuming that he's the more humanoid of the humanoids.
So that eye of yours is going to be able to just identify who it is, to know which
Yeah,
one's Dro.
You sort of tap him on his optical sensor.
Yeah. I just do it in like a bit of a menacing way, so just like, you screwed up, pal, sort of gesture.
Little bit, yeah.
Okay, so the So you've now got the injector, and you know what you can do with it. So the rest of the evening passes without incident. You all get a good night's sleep. You can do more recovery rolls. This counts as a 10-hour rest if you need.
Yeah, this all refreshes per day, right?
Yes.
So how long until the next day rolls over?
So I'd advise you, if you can, to fill up your pools.
Yeah, all right, I'll do that because I've only got 2 points left to fill, so it's pretty much going to be automatically fully healed.
Okay, yeah,
because the
you've
minimum roll is
filled
2.
it.
I've filled it, so that'll work.
Uh,
Okay, I'm back to full.
Just a question. Fedis, am I reading that right? Are you currently a tier 2 nano?
I am, yes.
Oh, nice.
He had
Congrats.
some. He used all of his extra experience to move up a tier.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the experience. I just don't want to waste it because I'll have no re-rolls if I do.
Live on the edge.
So in the early morning, there's a knock at your door, and Eshtamur is there with some of the Aeon priests from earlier. He hands you the explosives with the detonator, and then he hands you these small pins that he pins to your clothing wherever he can. As you touch it, Scrapper and Fedis, those of you who are mechanic line, you can feel a sort of something humming out of it that is just a constant oscillation. Eshtamir hands them to you and says, "We hope that you can get the task done. You really are our only hope. Good luck." And then they take you down to where you'd entered the tower. Except rather than the lift, they take you to the hatch. You see him move over to a screen and do a sweep with the camera that he'd used to talk to Rusev. And he says, "I don't see any of them down there." And then they open the hatch and they let you exit. As you climb down the ladder, you notice that it's sort of early morning, the sun's sort of only coming up. And you can't sense any of the green slime creatures that were around last night. But I'll let you do a intellect roll if you'd like to detect them.
Sure.
I'd like to try.
I am marginally paranoid now.
That'll do it.
Okay, so you can't detect anything close by, but you think there are some sort of in the area. You don't think it's entirely out, but you can't sense anything coming to your location or sensing you.
If I see one, are they kind of standing there, kind of dazed, sort of thing?
You can't see one just yet, but you can't sort of hear one from, you sort of take a look around from the top of the ladder and can't see any in the distance. But you think that it could just be the time of day, as Eshnamer had said, that it is a time of day where they don't really come out because of the heat from the sun. It takes them some time to adjust. And so you set off across the area towards the tower that Eshtamir had pointed you towards last night, that you'd identified as their centre of operations, the Spinneret. To move through the wilderness and remain undetected, I'd like to get a speed roll from you all. This will act sort of like a group check.
This will be stealth, yes?
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Ooh, trained in stealth.
15, not bad.
I'm going to put a level of effort into this as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you managed to, as a group, because most of you passed the check, you managed to, shush Fetus as he sort of tromps through the undergrowth, and most of you manage to follow a decent path towards the field. As you get closer, you can start to detect patrols. You see some of the spindly green, the scouts, walking around, but they're a fair distance away and they don't seem to notice you, even as you move closer to the tower.
Alright, I draw my crossbow the moment I spot one of them.
Okay. So you move towards the center of the field, which you believe is the Spinneret. The tower is a lattice. It's got sort of levels inside, and you can see activity around the inside of it. You know, it's sort of a porous structure. You think there are some windows, some areas that aren't windows. You can see activity moving around it. It's mostly, it's about 260 meters tall, from what you can tell, and the diameter of it's about 15 meters, and it's mostly a hollow cylinder from where you can tell. The walls are that web-like system of metal spars, and you can see some of the green creatures, the big beefy ones, sort of dormant, clinging to the exterior of the tower. Sometime more recent than the initial construction of the tower, but still a very long time ago. From where you can see, there appears to be spiral work heading up the inside, a ramp. Halfway up the tower, you can see the ramp head up inside. Halfway up it turns for a couple of levels to being an external ramp, still spiraling up, and then it disappears inside the tower again.
Okay. How do we negotiate this?
You can see more of the creatures sort of moving around. They haven't detected you yet, but you're still a distance off.
Well, we're going in there one way or the other, aren't we?
Maybe
Yeah,
we just go up and knock.
Just thinking
Hey, it worked last time.
Yeah, thinking back to our train fight, if these creatures are anything like the ones we fought before, they can't really see that well, and they mostly seem to rely on sound and sort of vibrations. So I reckon if we tread softly and quietly, we might be able to sneak past most of the patrolling things.
You might be onto something there. Sonar and the sparkly stuff from the brutes, yeah?
So as you move close to the tower, you can now see down at the bottom level, there are 3 of the spindly green creatures, the thin ones, patrolling around down there. I'd like to, if you'd like to sneak up to the tower, I'll need a stealth roll.
Alright.
From each of you. Difficulty 3.
I will go first. And +1 level of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, I still actually failed.
Okay, so before, you sort of sent Rusev out to scout. And as he walked towards it, he trodden on something. It had seemed like a trifle to you, but the three green creatures inside the tower had all suddenly snapped their attention towards you and start moving towards you.
How far off are the creatures?
They're in sort of the middle distance. They are moving towards you. They don't look like they've signaled anything yet. They don't look like they're you know, they're not calling for help yet, but they are coming to work out what the big deal was.
How far did Rusev get before he alerted them?
You were probably about 50 meters from the base of the tower. He probably got about 20 meters, and they're now about 20 meters from him.
Okay.
Can
This
I?
thing Rusev stood on, how identifiable is it? Are there others that we can see around?
From what it looks like, it just looks like a patch of sort of loose gravel. So it's just the ground. It's not like a trap or anything.
Okay.
Considering what I stood on, if there's like a branch or a twig or a stone or something, am I able to pick it up and kind of toss it a distance away from me to kind of lead them off away from where I'm standing?
Okay, to throw it with enough force and enough distance to lure him away, I'll need a might roll.
Flat roll, because I hope this works.
Okay, you pick up a stone and throw it at another patch of ground, and they immediately sort of change their directions. You see them sort of stare at each other, or they would stare if they did have eyes. They stare at each other for half a minute, and then move back towards the tower.
Huh? Okay.
So I think they just figured that the original noise was just a noise.
Nothing.
Nice.
Okay, so if people want to continue sneaking towards the tower, I'll need some stealth rolls.
Should we try this
I'll
again?
go.
I don't know. Yeah, did you guys want to try and catch up to where I am?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah, okay, go.
Difficulty 3, yeah?
Yep.
Yes!
Handy little
Alright.
macro.
Alright, that's actually from the character sheet. It's
It
actually
is,
down the
yeah.
bottom. There's actually a roll thing down the bottom right.
Yeah.
Difficulty 3. You can just click on that and it rolls, and whether or not you succeeded or not, it tells you.
And then I guess if you apply effort or something, you can just drop it down a degree.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm actually gonna put in effort as well for me moving up.
So you need to hit a 6.
Yep. So pop. Oh shit! Come on.
You stood on the same twig.
So the
Ow!
creatures,
Snapped already. The twig's already snapped. How did it snap again?
so the creatures that had been heading towards the tower immediately spin around and start walking very quickly towards you.
Can I try and use my hedge magic at this point? Or have we already used this trick?
It's going to be quite difficult. You can try it, but because
Yeah.
they're sort of a recon thing, it's going to be probably a difficulty 6, actually. It's going to be very hard to disabuse them of their
Jesus.
note.
Okay, I'm gonna put 2 levels of effort into this,
Okay.
Here goes the virtual
which
dice
takes it
machine.
to a level 4.
That's right, so you need to hit 12.
Come on.
Oh god.
Oh.
So you use your hedge magic to cast a noise off in a similar direction to where Rusev threw the rock earlier. And you think for a second that they've bought it. As they sort of turn towards it and stand for a second, almost like they're considering it. And you get the sense that they're communicating amongst one another. But then they turn back to where Scrapper made the noise and start moving directly towards you. As they get closer, you think that they can see you.
Oh, shit.
You
Can
think that they've
I-
got
Sorry,
some sort
boys.
of rudimentary visual sense.
Sorry.
Can I attempt to, even though they seem to now see us, can I still attempt to potentially stealth so that I'm sort of not directly in their line of sight, sort of thing?
Yep, sure. Also, Ranger, are you... What did we lose him? Not realize.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Ranger
He's,
didn't
he
even-
hasn't
I-
moved
I-
up yet.
You mean,
so-
man, a few words.
I'm. My face is presently pressed deep into my palm.
Thanks for the support, buddy.
All right, I might actually try and really just kind of slink in the opposite direction, see if I can still make a stealth check and remove myself from the situation.
Okay. So, I'll get some stealth rolls from the two of you.
Just a flat?
Yep,
Or
just a flat speed roll. Mhm.
I'm going
Ranger
to put
gets
another
the
level
vein.
of effort in here.
Mhm.
Oh, for far out.
Oh no!
So as you
Oh,
try
man,
and
Bruce has got a wound.
as you try to slink away, you slip up on the rubble and keep your footing, but you make a hell of a noise. But the creatures start running towards you, and I'll get you all to roll initiative.
Quick, I'm a distraction. Get into the tower.
Does anyone have a straw?
That's oddly specific.
Whoa!
Holy cow! 21 initiative.
Yeah, he gets a bonus.
Well, considering there isn't really a difficulty class for initiative, it's just can you beat the target number?
Mhm. So just to give you an idea, Rusev and Fetus, you'll act before the creatures. Ranger and Scrapper, you'll act after. At the moment, they don't know where Ranger is. So there's three of them. They all look like, well, more or less like this, and they are at a near distance. Rusev, you go first.
Near distance is like 15 meters or so.
Yep. And they're
So
running
would you
towards
say
you.
that's would you say that's potentially within charging distance for me, or is not really?
Because they're charging towards you, you should be able to sort of run at them and intercept them, yes.
Oh, excellent. In that case, because I get to go before them, I can apply my surprise attack bonuses. So I'm totally gonna countercharge them and stab them with my knife.
Mhm.
Just out of curiosity, was I able to salvage my blade poison that I had applied to my dagger, which I never actually got to use because I failed at stabbing the cragworm?
Because of the time that's elapsed, the poison's probably worn off.
Alright, fair enough.
Yep.
In that case...
Because as I remember, you gashed it, but it didn't have an effect.
Well, I think I just like couldn't penetrate its thick hide or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I shall attempt to stab this creature, and because I'm using a dagger and because I'm using my surprise attack, I get the difficulty class is 2 degrees lower.
Mhm.
Okay. And I'm applying my edge on my one of my special abilities for extra damage, so I won't be doing edge.
Sure. So that'll be a might roll.
Yeah, thought I rolled it. Oh, there we go. Oh shit.
Whoa! Whoa!
It took
a lot of
while to
rolls
come through.
wasted.
Okay, so you run out to intercept, and one of the creatures is running ahead of the other two. So you slash out with your blade, and you manage to penetrate its sort of outer skin on the slime. As you do that, how many points of damage do you do?
At flat, that will be 5.
Okay, so whilst you manage to do a big splash, I'll get a might defense roll from you.
Oh, that's...
I can take your second roll there if you'd like.
If I can?
Yes, I'll let you do that. So even though you are splashed with sort of the green slime from the center of the creature, none of it manages to enter an airway or anything like that. So you're not going to inhale any of the slime or anything like that. You're now close to one, and there are two sort of running not too far behind. Fetus, your turn.
I'm gonna opt to cry.
Okay, Fetus cries as a full round action.
How far are these creatures?
Now that they're probably 8 meters or so from you.
We still haven't established how accurate they are in close quarters, have we? They've got heightened sense of sound, not very good sight at all. That's correct, yeah?
These ones, because they're more of a recon one, they are looking at you. You can see embedded in the slime where their eyes would be. There is like a darker patch that you think might be some sort of visual sensor, so they can see you.
Okay. Instead of that, can I try and go for the dark patch? One of the dark patches.
Okay, that'll be a little bit tougher roll to call it like that, so it'll be a difficulty 4 to go for the eyes.
Sure.
Are you going to go on the creature that Rusev has already stabbed quite heavily, or one of the other ones?
No, I'll go for one of the ones that is still coming towards us.
Okay.
Nope.
8.
Okay, and that was with your...
My little razor ring.
Okay, so you move towards it and try and bring your ring through in a sort of overhead slash towards it. And the creature sort of ducks under it. Although you manage to nick its head and run a line through it, which followed your blade, but then you see it sort of heal up, and it sort of ducks around you. It's also going to then counter-attack, so I'll get a speed dodge to a speed roll to dodge.
Nope.
Okay, so it sort of tries to grab you, as these things do, and squeezes your arm tight, so you'll take 3 points of damage. But it's trying to restrain you, but you manage to twist out of it.
Okay.
Okay, the one that had already been injured by Rusev sort of sees the fluid coming out of it from where it had been slashed, and it starts sort of collecting it in its hand, and then tries to sort of fling it directly in your face. So I'll get a dodge roll from you.
Let's not pull a fetus and get it in my eyes.
Okay, so it brings this up and sort of hurls it at you from a fairly close range, but it hurls where it thought you were, but you've sort of moved around to the side of it before it could even get it off. The third one is going to keep running because it's spotted Scrapper, who made the original noise, and will head towards him. Ranger, it's now your turn. You're still a fair distance away. You're about 20 meters away from them, but they have not detected you yet.
Okay, is the terrain mostly flat? Is there
Yeah.
any...
I mean, there's a sort of it's not like dead flat, but it's sort of fairly low rise. There's no hills or anything, so you can. And there's sort of little patches of rubble and scrub here and there. But yeah, you can. It's a pretty clear thing. There's not much you can hide behind.
Okay. And I'm about 20 meters away from the group.
Yep.
Eh, hmm. I think I'll just use my crossbow to take some pot shots at the one that is already wounded.
Okay, sure. Because it can't detect you, that'll be an easier shot. So only difficulty 2, so a 6.
15. Bam.
Okay.
Nice.
Those
So the
bolts are 4 damage.
4 damage.
Yep.
So the bolt sort of sails past Rusev's ear and embeds itself in the creature's head, and whether it's because of some instability in the way the bolt moves through the air, or it's just got something in its head, the bolt embeds itself within the creature's head,
Okay.
and it leads out a spray of green ooze from the back of its head, and it sort of is woozy. You don't think it's got like a central intelligence, but you've hit something, and it's sort of woozy and still trying to fight. So it's still on its feet, but it's not in a good condition. Okay, the third one that had been going for Scrapper, and had been running towards him, is sort of looking around to detect you. So I'll get another speed roll to remain hidden.
Oh, so you didn't fully spot me.
It spotted you, Scrapper, but I'll get a speed roll from from Ranger
Oh, right.
to remain hidden, given it's getting closer to him. And it doesn't detect you, so you are still hidden from the creatures.
Excellent.
Scrapper, it's now your turn. One of the creatures is now sort of 3 or 4 meters away from you.
Oh boy. I think I'll actually take a piercing shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll cost me 1 speed for that.
Mm-hmm.
To actually use, and I fire straight at it. I'm not going to go for a specific shot. I just want to bloody hit it.
Okay. So difficulty 3.
Fuck. 4.
Okay.
Ah.
Even though it's closing in on you, maybe because it's too close, the bolt sort of sails wide and hits a rock over on the side. But this time it doesn't embed itself in an NPC.
Gee, thanks. I'm getting better slowly.
Well, you didn't hit anyone. That's a start.
Shut up, rolling for you
Okay,
right next.
So the creatures sort of stop what they're doing for a second, almost like they're taking orders or communicating with something, and then redouble their efforts to fight you. You can sort of sense on the outside that they're probably signaling for backup. So you might want to end this quickly. Rusev, it's your turn. There is a wounded creature directly in front of you.
Is there... Just trying to think, is there anywhere I could potentially put this guy off balance so that I'd have some sort of advantage over him? Like, would I be able to try and knock him down and then try and stab him as he would attempt to get back up or something like that?
Yep, sure. I'll let you try and trip him for a that'll bump it up a level of difficulty just because you're trying to do a sort of compound maneuver on him. But so difficulty 4.
And that's another might, yep.
Yep, that'll be a might roll.
Yeah, I'll try it without modifier. Nope.
Okay, you try and hook your foot around behind him, and using the sort of hilt of your knife, you try and push him over. But as you try and push him, your hand sort of goes into his surface a bit, not breaking his skin, but like a cushion, and that sort of throws off that judo maneuver that you might have done in the past, and it sort of staggers back, and it's still reeling, like it's not real well, but it's still engaging. Fetus, your turn.
I'm just going to take a wild slash at the wounded one.
Okay. Difficulty 3 again. Okay. You come up behind it, where it had been, engaged with Rusev, and you embed your razor ring in the back of its head. Rusev, for a second, you see the blade from the ring come out the front of its head, and you can see some sort of like harder sensory organ on the edge of the blade before the creature folds in front of you and collapses into pretty much a puddle. Unfortunately, as you're doing that, Fetus, you get a bit of spray back from the green gunk, so I'll get a might roll from you to resist that. Okay, but you're too quick for it, so the gunk has no effect on you. Okay, the creature that you'd originally taken a shot at, Fetus, is now going to come and try and do a retaliatory strike against you, so I'll get a speed roll to dodge.
Oh.
Okay, so you dodge out of the way, and it's going to just clip you as it comes through with a blow. So you'll just take 1 point of damage from it.
Okay.
Then that's might damage.
Yep.
Scrapper, the one that had been coming from you, is also going to try and grapple you and grab you. So a speed roll to dodge from you.
Please actually be a good one. Thank you. 15.
Okay, so you are way too quick for it and dance to the side as it comes towards you. Ranger, you're still hidden.
Yes.
He sounds like a snake.
I'm going to try and just kind of circle around. So kind of just move around the outside a little bit, just to kind of obscure my actual location, so they can't kind of work out where the bolts are coming from.
Sure, you sort of move in a semicircle closer to the tower.
Yep.
Until you're side on to the one. The closer one is the one that Scrapper is fighting.
Okay, cool. Do I need to roll a speed check for that to
no.
stay stealthy, or I'll do it at the end of the turn?
You'll do it at the end of your turn just to remain hidden, because you're already hidden and it is engaging Scrapper.
Okay, well, I'll take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to hit.
That will not hit. So the bolt will sail past Scrapper, and he'll duck out of the way and look back and work out that that's where the arrow came from, and sort of shake his head.
A thumbs up. I do a thumbs up. Good job.
Finger guns.
Scrapper, it's your turn. There is one slime monster up in your grill.
Sorry, that's my stealth check.
And you remain hidden.
Okay, excellent.
Alright, well, I switch right out to my knife and attempt to do a kind of side swipe so that I'm actually slicing it away from me, so if it actually does spill anything, it would actually be out to the side and not like a stab if it squirts out towards me, just out to the side instead.
Okay, so to finesse that, that'll be a difficulty 4.
Yeah, sure. 19.
Okay, you slice it out and away from you, and just as you'd intended, the spray sprays out away from you, and you'll get a couple of points of bonus damage that. Well, so how much damage does that do?
It's a light weapon, so I'm just trying to remember how much it actually is.
If it's light, it's 2.
Yeah, it's a knife, so pretty much, yeah, so 2.
Okay, and I'll give you 2 points of bonus damage on that. So you can
Awesome.
see as you've sliced the creature and that spray is out, that it sort of keeps spraying for a second because you've sort of hit it quite true. And the creature you see it sort of collapse in on itself a bit until you actually see it drop an inch or 2 in height as it loses volume. But it's still as dangerous as it ever was. In the distance, you can see another one of the creatures, one that you hadn't seen before, sort of heading roughly your direction, but it can't sense you yet. Rusif, it's your turn.
So the creature that did sort of beat up Fetus, I'm going to go around and stab him.
Okay, so you roll to the side and come up with a stab. Would you like to try and do what Scrapper did?
Nah.
Okay.
Also likes to live dangerously.
Reduced difficulty by 1 because of it's a knife, so it's easier.
Okay, so that will hit. That's how many points of damage?
Because I was using thrust move, that's 3 points of damage.
Okay, so you put the knife in, and as you pull the knife back out, you pull some green slime with it. There is a spray of slime that comes with that, so I'll get a might roll to defend against that.
Maybe not.
I think it'll be just enough on that. So the spray comes past you, but you'll probably want to clean it off yourself reasonably soon. Fetus, your turn.
Okay. I would like to try and submerge my hand inside the head of this thing and grab the hard organ that resides within.
You're going to try and rip its eyes out of its face.
From the back of its skull. Yeah.
Okay,
Go.
because it has been engaging Rusif, but that's still a difficult move. That'll be a difficulty 4 to try and grasp one of them.
Okay. Do I want to put edge into this?
I would, because if you pull it off, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I probably do. Okay, so I'll put a level of effort into it, rather.
Mhm.
Which takes it up to, yeah, okay. Oh, come on.
Okay, I'm going to intrude.
Yep.
Ooh.
Do you
Don't
accept the
dare.
intrusion?
I accept.
Okay, so
With
one
poison
experience for
grace.
you, one experience for someone else.
That's how he's already tier 2. He keeps accepting all the bad results.
So
Okay,
who-
I'll give an experience to Rusif.
okay.
Thank you much, Lee.
As you reach your hand inside the creature's skull, your hand sort of gets partway through, and the slime encases itself around your hand and starts to go a bit hard.
Okay.
So your hand is now stuck in the back of the creature's skull,
Not necessarily a bad thing.
and it's sort of flailing behind you
Cool.
to attack you. So the creature that was attacking Scrapper is going to attack him again. given that Slash has done a fair bit of damage to it. So Scrapper will get a speed roll to dodge.
Okay. I'm gonna make Piccolo proud.
Come on, dodge.
10. Is that
That'll
enough?
do it. That'll do it. You'll dodge out of the way.
Yes. Yes, Piccolo would be proud of me. Dodge.
Fetus, the creature that you're stuck with, you sort of see it put its arms out to the side of it and go stiff for a second. And then you see the organelles that were in the front of its skull move towards the back.
What?
And the joints on its arms reverse. So now your hand is stuck in the front of its skull. And it grabs your arm and tries to wrench it. Because you're close to it, that will be a difficult dodge.
Yep.
So that will be probably a 5 actually. Because you're stuck with it.
And is that a might or a speed roll?
That's speed, and you can put effort into that to dodge it better.
I have... Oh, I can actually afford that, can't I? Okay. So I'm going to take this down to a difficulty 3 at a cost of 5.
Yep.
God.
Okay.
And then he rolls.
Come on, 50% chance of success.
Nope.
6.
Ooh, shit.
So the creature grabs your arm in its socket and starts wrenching and pushes you down into a hold. You'll take 3 points of might damage.
Oh, shit. Yep.
And Rusa, from where you are, it's going to be more difficult to hit because you've got it without hitting Fetus. Ranger, your turn. You are still hidden.
Excellent.
Says, when did you become Mr. Burns?
I'm always Mr. Burns when nobody can see me.
Do you have an ability called Release the Hounds? Because that'd be very useful
that
right
would
now.
be very useful right now.
He's got a companion character called Smithers.
It
Where's
feels like
the spruce move?
it's right here in my pocket.
Need that as a cipher.
It feels like I should help Fetus.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good.
Fetus has got his hand stuck in a creature who's also got him in like a hold, and he's like, "Oh, I'm good, guys. It's all good."
Can't tell where I was in the sarcastic tones. So it's like, no one tried to help me or anything.
Well. In that case, I circle closer to the tower and take another shot at the closest creature.
Okay, from where you've circled to now, you're now closer to the one engaging Fetus.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yeah. So because you're stealthy, it drops down by 1, but because it's got Fetus in a hold, it's up by 1. So you're trying to hit a 9.
Okay. That's cool. That's not
Oh, no.
The bolt misses. You were too cautious in your shot, trying not to hit Fetus.
Oh, thank God.
As you shoot it, it sails to the left and wide.
Right.
Scrapper, it's your turn.
Ooh, that's my stealth check.
Okay, and it looks up from where it's engaging Fetus, and you can see the organelles in its head twist towards you, so it can see you.
Alright.
But the one that Scrapper is near isn't really paying attention, but because they communicate, it might be able to tell it. Scrapper, it's your turn. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing except in the opposite direction this time. So to the opposite way. So sort of like a reverse
An X.
swipe. So basically, I'm trying to make them spill in the other direction now.
Yep.
Okay. So same difficulty as before.
Mhm.
Okay. 18.
Nice.
Okay. So, reversing your grip on the blade from where you'd first come through, you come through with another slash out in the other direction, and you miss the gunk that flies out of it. How much damage was that?
That's 2.
2, and because it's 18, I'll throw in an extra 1.
Okay.
Okay, so the creature in front of you has sort of shrunk again, and it's now only about 5 foot tall. It had started as, sort of 6 foot, and it's now a bit under 5. So you've actually reduced the, amount of slime in it by quite an appreciable volume, but it is still standing. Okay, the creature that you'd spotted coming towards you in the distance is now moving towards you fairly quickly. It can't see you yet, but it is getting pretty close, so you might want to wrap this up sooner rather than later. It's probably now about 60 meters from you. Rusif, it's your turn.
Well, can't really do much for you, Fetus, but I believe perhaps
Sever the head.
I have a dagger. I could try severing the head, but I'm more inclined just to try and stab it and distract it, so I guess I'll just go for a body stab.
Yep, sure.
And it reduces the difficulty by 1 because it's a light weapon.
So you're trying to hit a 9.
Nope.
Oh, don't
Okay.
stab me.
So the knifing's wide, but similar to Ranger, because you've had to sort of bend it so carefully to not hit Fetus, your swipe does no real damage to the creature.
Out of curiosity.
Fetus! Yeah?
Sorry, I was just going to ask, out of curiosity, if I was not trying to intentionally avoid Fetus, would that have lowered the difficulty?
If you're not trying to intentionally avoid Fetus, it would have lowered the difficulty, but you still would not have hit it.
I'm aware of that. I'm just like thinking for the future.
Yes, if you just don't care, yeah, you can just slash at it, and
I like where this is going.
you can slash at it and hope, but yeah.
I like it.
Okay, Fetus, it is your turn. You are being grappled by the thing, but you might be able to bring a knife around from your, bring something around from your other hand and break its grip. Or
So am I on the ground, or are we both upright wrestling?
it's sort of got you sort of bent over, and your arms out back like this. If you just want to break its grip and pull your arm out of its face, you'll need to do a might roll. Otherwise, you can attack it, and if you hit it if you sort of hurt it enough, it'll release.
Yeah, that didn't quite go as planned, did it?
No.
Yeah, so if I'm pretty much stuck, I guess I'm gonna have to take a swing at it. I can't really use my body weight to smash its head into the ground.
You can try and flip it over you with a might roll.
If I would like to try that, yes.
Okay, because it's got a bit of an advantage over you, but it's not that much bigger than you, you might be able to do a sort of judo flip with your hand still in its skull.
Yep.
So that'll be difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. I can't afford any effort.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Can I afford effort?
What's your
I've
might for that?
I don't want to say.
That good, hey?
He's one hit away from being knocked out, I guess.
I'm at the point where I may as well use effort, because if I get struck, it's gonna do the same thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put a point of effort into it.
Mm-hmm. So
And
you're
that's
trying to hit a 9.
23. Oh God.
11.
Okay.
It was actually worth it. Nice.
So you, in some move that you probably couldn't demonstrate to someone if you tried, because you just managed to do it. You bring your arm out of its lock and sort of flick the creature down and smash its head into the ground. Had that one been hit? It had been hit, hadn't it? You'd already hit that, hadn't you? Okay,
Yeah.
so you managed to smash its head in the ground, and its head bursts like a tomato.
Excellent.
And you sort of see the structural integrity of the rest of it collapse, but I will need a might roll to just to stop the splashback. Okay, and you managed to not get enough of the gunk on you for it to have an effect.
Nice.
So now there is one in front of Scrapper and one coming in the distance. The one in front of Scrapper is going to try and get him. You sort of see it stop still, and you think it's communicating for a second, but it's going to try and swipe you while it's doing that. So I'll get a speed roll to dodge from Scrapper.
10.
Okay, that'll be enough. Ranger, your turn.
Whew.
Um,
Die.
So it's the one that doesn't know where I am now, does it?
It doesn't know where you are.
It may do. I can't guarantee that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to. I think I'm going to run up behind it and see if I can't put it in a sleeper hold.
A sleeper hold.
Grapple it. Yeah.
Okay, because it's a slime creature,
Hmm.
I'm not sure, and because of what you saw the one that was engaging Fetus do before,
Hmm.
I'm not sure a sleeper hold's going to do it.
I can't just pop its head off?
That you can try.
Right.
This could only go so well.
Okay, I'll let you go up and try and wrench its head off.
Okay, I can just. Alright. I will invest some. Let's see if I can.
Okay, if you're going to put effort on it, it still doesn't know you're there, so that'll bring it down to a 6.
Oh God.
So you just got to hit a 6.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were
Not a difficult. No. It's not going to be. No.
I was just like, whoa, this is difficult.
Excellent.
You guys have only faced one enemy that's had anything of difficulty 6, and we saw what he did to you.
Okay.
Oh,
Just got a 7.
So, Scrapper,
goodness.
from your perspective, you're not quite sure where Ranger came from, just because you've been busy, but he comes up behind it, and you sort of see him bring his gloved hand in beneath it, and grab it sort of by the back of the skull and twist them in opposite directions, and rip the creature's head straight off its body. There's a spray from the neck wound. You need a might roll to dodge, Ranger, because pretty much your face is going to be almost right over it.
18.
Okay,
Dodged.
but because Scrapper had already let out so much of the fluid from it, there's not much pressure, so it's more of a dribble, and the creature disintegrates in your arms and falls to the ground. There is one creature approaching from the distance. It hasn't seen you yet. But would you like to leap to the bottom of the tower?
I would like to head to the tower, yes.
Okay.
Subtlety's out the window,
how
so
far
might
is
as well
this
just like it.
creature?
It's probably about 30 metres away coming from the east. The tower is probably about the same distance to the north. Actually, no, tower's a bit close. It's about 20 metres to the north, the base of it.
Can
It's sort
I
of looming above
try
you.
to throw my hedge magic in the opposite direction to get this creature off our tail?
Yep, sure. I'll get an intellect roll. Okay, you make a noise off in the distance, and the creature, as you move away towards the tower, the creature is distracted, and you all safely reach the base of the tower.
Thank
And
God.
that is where I'll call it for this week.
Good job, everyone.
I'm almost dead.
I actually handled myself quite well after all my bludgeons with the crossbow.
Would you,
Sort of turned
would you
into
like
like
to make your first recovery roll, Fetus?
Can I do that? I've made 3 recovery rolls this
I
game.
know,
the
because
next day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the next day because you had a long rest.
Oh, thank
Yeah, so
God.
therefore
Okay.
they reset. Yeah, I thought as much. Yeah, so I just got to uncheck those for mine.
Okay, so
5.
you can have those points back.
I think that's going to have to all go into my might pool.
It's better than what you had, I'm guessing, right?
I was on 2 of 14.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
Yep.
You need a might edge, son.
If you're gonna
I've got
be,
one
you're gonna be
edge in
doing
there.
that, you need a might edge, dude. Yeah, otherwise it's just gonna kill you.
Yep.
Okay, so when we return, you'll be in the base of the tower, ready to face whatever is up above you. You'll need to work out what's inside the tower. You'll need to see if you can find Dro, and you need to see if you can disable the signal from the top of the Spinneret once and for all.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you.
And
Cool.
2 weeks good for everyone?
Yep.
Yep.
As a heads up,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks being the 25th, further 2 weeks being the 9th.
Yep.
Depending on whether I've packed up my computer or not, I may not be able to make it for the session on the 23rd, so the 9th may be my last one. At least indefinitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of the country until PAX.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll work that out closer to the time, and we'll work out something for your character. Maybe you fall into a parasite-induced coma or something for a while.
It didn't like how much you used your might points to try to get those rolls, and so therefore it's sort of like, you need a mandatory rest.
Get my hand stuck in another skull.
Anyway, gentlemen.
Alrighty.
So, Alf, I was just thinking, has anyone ever told you you seem to take troubles on face first?
I'm more than okay with that. It seems to work out somehow.
Anyway, gentlemen,
I haven't died
thanks
yet.
for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for running.
Enjoy your fortnight, and I'll see some of you on Monday, but otherwise, enjoy your fortnight.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
So.
All right,
See you
see you
later.
then, catch up.